Okay, in the previous class, what we have discussed. So in the previous class, we have discussed like a backend technologies, just some description of backend technologies. Okay, what are the backend technologies available in the market? So we are having many backend languages and many backend technologies in the market. So like we are having like a Java, J2EE. Okay, Java, J2EE. In the J2EE, we are having JDBC, JSP, Servlets. These are the technologies available in the advanced Java. Okay, and also currently we are having first of all JDBC. What is JDBC here? JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. So it is a mediator between our backend layer and database. Okay, so how it is a mediator? So if you check here, we are having JDBC. This is it is available in between backend layer and database. Okay, so if you want to communicate our Java layer with the database, we are having JDBC technology in the market. So that is called JDBC. Okay, by using JDBC, we can easily communicate with the database. Okay, and also we are having JSP. What is JSP here? By using JSP API, we can develop the dynamic web application. In the market, we are having two types of applications, like a static web applications and a dynamic web application. But here, what type of application we can develop? Dynamic web applications we can develop. Okay, and also servlets. What is servlets here? Servlets is used to handle the request and response. Okay, so which request should be handled by which method? Okay, which request should be handled by which method, or which after sending the request we are going to get the response. Okay, like this we are going to use the servlets, and also by using servlets we can keep our application in the live or production environments. So if you go to the company, so we are having multiple environments like a dev environment, development environment, SIT environment, system integration testing environment, UAT environment, prod environment. Okay, so in the dev environment, developers going to involve this environment, development environment. SIT environment means testers is going to involve the SIT environment, and also UAT testing. UAT testing means client side peoples, customer side peoples are going to involve the UAT, and also production. So live environment is available. Production means end of the project we are going to keep our application in the live, so every person can access. So this environment having without issue. So without issue we are going to access our application. Okay, like that. So and also having frameworks in the market, like first of all, what is frameworks? So many frameworks available in the market. Like first of all, framework nothing but semi-developed software or semi-developed application. What is semi-developed here? Half of the project that company peoples are developed, remaining project we are going to taking care. Okay, so whenever developing the application, we are having two types of logics: business logic available, common logic available. What is business logic here? So business logic is going to change project to project. Okay, so if you are developing the e-commerce application, the project will be changed, business logic will be changed. If you are developing the healthcare domain project, the logic will be changed. If you are developing the e-commerce application, logic will be changed. If you're developing the like a banking application, the logic will be changed. If you're developing the institute project, the logic will be changed. Like that, based on our project development, the logic will be changed. That is called a business logic. Okay, and also common logic means for every project we are removing the duplicate code. So who is taking care of common logic? Our frameworks is going to taking care of this common logic. Just we need to concentrate on the business logic, then we can develop our application quickly. Okay, so also if you use the technologies, we are having technologies, right? If you use the technologies, we need to write for every operation, for insertion, for updation, for deletion, for retrieval. For every operation, we need to write the 10 lines of the code. So if you are performing 4 operation means we need to write the 40 lines of the code. Instead of that, if you use the framework, now we can write within 4 lines of the code for the 4 operations. Okay, that's why in the frameworks we are avoiding the duplicate code, or duplicate code nothing but boilerplate code. Okay, in the programming terminology we are going to call as a boilerplate code. Okay, So what is the frameworks here? What are the frameworks available? If you use a framework, just we need to write single line of the code. For every operation, we need to write one line of the code. Okay. So and also we are having Spring framework. So it is a application development framework. By using Spring framework, we can develop applications. Okay. By using Spring framework, what we can do? We can develop applications. Okay. What kind of application we can develop? We can develop the standalone application. We can develop the web application. We can develop the distributed applications also. We know, right? Standalone application means the application which is running in one machine, or that machine we need to download, we need to install, then only we can access. That is called the standalone application. We're having web application. We can develop the web applications also. The application which is running in the web or website. Okay, the application which is running in the web, that is called as a web application. At a time, multiple people's access. Okay, so if you want to access, no, internet is mandatory. That is the web applications. And also we are having, and also this is a B2C communication. Okay, it is going to involve in the B2C communication. And also we are having distributed application. What is distributed applications here? So one business logic will communicate with the another business logic. That is called as a distributed applications. So if you go to the real-time scenario, if we are having passport application, so whenever applying for the passport, our application will be communicated with the Aadhaar card application internally. Okay, why? Because so it is going to check your belongs to Indian or not. That's why our passport application is going to communicate with the Aadhaar card application. Okay, here one application is communicating with the another application. That is called as a distributed communication. Okay, here also if you use the Google Pay or Phone Pay or Paytm, any online payment platform, one application will communicate with the another application. That is also called as a distributed application. So nowadays, very more demand for the distributed applications and web applications. Okay, that is called a, by using Spring we can develop this type of applications: standalone application, web application, and distributed application. Mainly we can develop this type of application. And also Spring Boot is available. What is Spring Boot is here? Spring Boot is also called as application development framework. So Spring Boot internally uses Spring framework only. Okay, it is Spring Boot is internally uses Spring framework. Okay, Spring Boot is the extension of Spring framework. Okay, what is Spring Boot here? Spring Boot is the application development framework. So Spring Boot internally uses Spring Boot internally uses Spring Boot internally uses Spring framework only. Okay, Spring Boot internally uses Spring framework only. Spring Boot is the extension of Spring framework. Okay, Spring Boot is the extension of Spring framework. So what type of application we can develop by using Spring? Those type of application we can develop by using Spring Boot also. Okay, what are the types of application we can develop? We can develop standalone application, web application, distributed application. Those type of applications also we can develop in the Spring Boot. Okay, what type of apps we can develop by using Spring? Same type of application we can develop by using Spring Boot also. Okay, that is called as a Spring Boot. So mainly if you go for the Spring, so there is having many configurations. We need to write everything for every class. We need to take the configurations. But if you use a Spring Boot, automatically it is going to taking care of the configurations. I will show you whenever discussing the Spring. I will take some Spring classes. I will take after some Spring Boot classes. I want to show what is the difference between Spring and Spring Boot. That's why I want to take some classes Spring. After that, I will start the Spring Boot. Okay, so auto configuration concept available here. If you use the Spring, manual configuration available. Programmer need to handle the configurations. Here automatically Spring Boot is going to taking care of the auto configurations. So the main difference is auto configuration here. And also we are having microservices. What is microservices? So the application, first of all, if you want to understand the microservices now, first of all you need to understand the monolithic application. Okay, so olden days every project is following the monolithic application development fashion. Okay, monolithic fashion they are following. So what is monolithic here? The application which is developed. Okay, all if you develop all the functionalities in a single project, if you develop all the functionality in the single project, that is called monolithic application. Okay, if you develop all the functionalities in a single, okay, if we develop all the functionalities in a single project or single jar file. Okay, so what is jar here? Java stands for Java archive. So whenever purchase the, if you go whenever purchase the bake whenever purchase the cake na, bakery people, how they are going to deliver the cake? Like some box, right? So if we develop our project also, our project we are going to deliver as a jar file. Okay, so that is the simple example. So whenever developing the Java application, we are going to deliver to the customers as a jar file. Okay, that is called. So if we develop all the functionalities in the single project, okay, what are the functionalities? I will show you here. For example, if we are developing the Make My Trip application, okay, okay, for example, if you are developing the Make My Trip application, so not a Make My Trip, if you're developing any kind of application, so in this Make My Trip application we are having many functionalities. We can book the flights, we can book the hotels, we can book the villas, we can book the trains, we can book the buses, cabs. Okay, like this we can book many things. Okay, so for example, if we develop our application monolithic fashion, so how we are going to develop, we can see here. Okay, so we are having many functionality right here. What are the functionalities available? We can book the flights. Okay, we can book the flights. So we can book the flights, and also we can book the hotels. And also we can book the villas, homestay villas. And also we can book the trains and also we can book the buses and cabs. So if we develop all the functionality as a single project or a single jar file, that is called as a monolithic application. So if we develop all, we are having as of now how many functionalities? 5 functionalities. So if we develop all the functionality in the single project, okay, this is the single project. If you develop all the functionality in the single project, that is called as a monolithic application. Okay, that is called as a monolithic application. So if you following the monolithic application, we are going to face many challenges. Okay, we are going to face many challenges. So what type of challenges we are going to face? Okay, so if we develop entire application as a single jar file, so our business will be collapse. Okay, jar file or application. Okay, so we are having 5 functionalities. If we develop all the 5 functionalities in a single application or single jar file, that is called as a monolithic application. For example, whenever my customer is going to facing the issue, whenever booking the flights. Okay, this customer is not going to pay the money. Whenever paying the money, he is going to getting the some error message. You are not able to book the flights. So if you want to check the developers why this functionality is not working, so entire application need to stop. Okay, so if you stop entire application, other person not able to book the hotels, villas, trains and buses. Okay, so if you stop 1 minute, we are going to for example, some millions of customers available for this application, so some lakhs of customer not able to book the remaining functionalities. Why? Because we are facing with the flights booking functionality, but we need to stop other functionalities also. So many people are booking other functionalities, but they are not able to book. Why? If we stop this application, we need to stop remaining functionalities also. That's why our business will be going to collapse. Okay, so that's why the company peoples are thinking and change the our application into microservices pattern. Okay, we're having microservices pattern. So how they are following the microservice pattern? So every functionalities they are developing single project like this. Every functionalities, every project, they are developing the separate project. Okay, separate project they are developing, like a flight booking separate project. Okay, hotels booking separate project, villas separate project, and trains should be separate project. And also buses should be separate project. So if you develop every project separately, that is called as a microservice architecture. So every functionality is a one microservice. Every functionality is a one microservice. As of now, we are having 5 microservices. Okay, so that's why every project 90 to 95 projects are developing based on the microservices design pattern. Okay, this is the pattern every project, every company following. So if you don't follow the, so we are going to face many challenges. Okay, so like this, we are, so this is one project.